The ocean is vast, it covers most of our planet. Deep below the waves, mysteries hide. We have explored space more than our own seas. What creatures live in these dark, cold depths? For centuries, sailors and storytellers have spoken of mermaids. These beings are half human, half fish. They capture our imagination. They fill us with wonder and sometimes fear. The idea of a person living in the sea is truly fascinating. It makes us question what is possible in the world. Mermaids represent a powerful allure. They are symbols of the unknown sea. They are often beautiful. They sing enchanting songs. But they can also be dangerous. Some tales say they lure sailors to their doom. This mix of beauty and danger makes them even more interesting. We are drawn to stories of things we cannot fully understand. The mermaid is a perfect example of this. She lives just beyond our reach in a world so different from our own. This makes her an enduring figure in global folklore. The mystery of mermaids is not just an old story. People today still wonder if they could be real. Are they just myths? Or could there be some truth to the legends? We look for evidence, we examine old stories, we listen to new accounts. The sea keeps its secrets well, but the human spirit is curious. We want to uncover these secrets. The quest to understand mermaids is a quest to understand the ocean itself. It is a journey into the heart of myth and perhaps reality. This essay will dive into the world of mermaids. We will explore ancient records. We will look at what sailors saw. We will consider modern claims. We will also see what science says. The cultural impact of these creatures is huge. We will examine that too. Join us as we explore the depths. Could mermaids be more than just a captivating legend? Let us try to find out. The journey begins now. The story of mermaids is not new. It is very, very old. Some of the first tales come from ancient Syria. Around 1000 BC, there was a goddess named Atargatis. She was a fertility goddess. The legend says she fell in love with a mortal shepherd. She accidentally killed him. Filled with shame and grief, she threw herself into a lake. She wanted to become a fish, but the waters could not completely hide her divine beauty, so she became half human, half fish. This is one of the earliest known mermaid stories. The ancient Greeks also had stories of similar beings. They had the sirens. In early Greek art, sirens were often shown as half woman, half bird, but over time their image changed. They became more like mermaids. They were beautiful women with fishtails. They lived on rocky islands. They sang beautiful songs. These songs would lure sailors to crash their ships on the rocks. Odysseus, the famous Greek hero, had to be tied to his ship's mast to resist their call. These stories show a long history of human-like creatures in the sea. Roman writers also mentioned beings like mermaids. Pliny the Elder was a famous Roman author and naturalist. He lived in the 1st century AD. In his book Natural History, he described creatures called Nereids. He said they were real. He wrote that they had human-like upper bodies. Their lower bodies were covered in scales like fish. He even mentioned an officer in Gaul who wrote to Emperor Augustus. The officer said he had seen many Nereids washed up on the shore. These ancient accounts make us wonder if people were seeing something real. These old texts are important. They show that the idea of mermaids has been with us for thousands of years. It was not just one culture. Many different ancient peoples had similar stories. This widespread belief is interesting. Were they all just making up stories, or were they trying to describe something they had actually seen or heard about? The consistency across different cultures suggests a shared human experience or a very powerful, persistent idea. The ancient world was clearly fascinated by the possibility of human-like life in the oceans. As humans began to explore the world by sea, mermaid sightings increased. The age of exploration, from the 15th to 17th centuries, was a time of long voyages. Sailors spent months, even years, at sea. They saw many strange and wonderful things. It is not surprising that they reported seeing mermaids. These sailors were far from home. They were often lonely and tired. The vast, empty ocean could play tricks on their minds. Yet their logs and journals often contain detailed accounts of these encounters. Christopher Columbus himself reported seeing mermaids. On his first voyage to the Americas in 1493, he wrote in his journal. He said he saw 3 female forms rise out of the sea. He noted they were not so beautiful as they are painted. He said their faces had some masculine features. This detail is interesting. It suggests he was not just imagining a perfect, beautiful mermaid from stories. He was describing something specific that he saw. Perhaps he was trying to be accurate in his report of these unusual beings. Other explorers and sailors shared similar stories. Henry Hudson, the famous English sea explorer, also recorded a mermaid sighting. In 1608, while sailing near Norway, he wrote that 2 of his crew members saw a mermaid. They described her as having a woman's upper body. Her skin was white. She had long black hair. Her tail was like that of a porpoise, speckled like a mackerel. This detailed description adds a layer of credibility. It was not just a fleeting glimpse. They claimed to have observed her closely. These accounts from seasoned sailors are puzzling. Were they all mistaken? Were they all lying? Some say they might have mistaken other sea animals for mermaids. Manatees or dugongs are often suggested as possibilities. These animals have a vaguely human-like form from a distance. They also nurse their young in a human-like way. However, sailors were very familiar with sea life. Would they consistently make such a mistake? The persistence of these tales from experienced mariners keeps the question open. Their stories fueled the belief in mermaids for centuries. One might think that mermaid sightings are a thing of the past. With modern technology and scientific understanding, such tales should fade away. However, reports of mermaid-like creatures continue even in the 20th and 21st centuries. These modern accounts often come from ordinary people. They come from fishermen, divers, or beachgoers. While these reports are harder to verify, they show that the fascination and belief persist. These stories, though less frequent, keep the mystery alive in our contemporary world. In the 1960s, there were reports from Kai Islands, Indonesia. Local fishermen claimed to have seen strange human-like creatures in the water. They called them orang ikan, which means fish person. These beings were described as having pinkish skin, a human-like head and torso, but a fish-like lower body. Some reports even claimed that one was briefly captured. These stories were investigated by some researchers. However, no concrete evidence was found, but the local belief remained strong. The consistency in local descriptions was noteworthy. More recently, in 2009, there were reports from Kiryat Yam, Israel. People claimed to have seen a mermaid performing tricks in the water at sunset. The town even offered a $1 million reward for proof of the mermaid's existence. Many people flocked to the beach hoping to see it. Videos and photos appeared online. Most were blurry or inconclusive. Skeptics dismissed it as a hoax or a misidentification. But the excitement it generated showed how much people want to believe. The local council hoped it would boost tourism. Even with smartphones and cameras everywhere, clear proof remains elusive. If mermaids are real, why don't we have clear photos or videos? This is a strong argument against their existence. However, the ocean is vast and largely unexplored. Many creatures live in the deep sea, far from human eyes. Some argue that an intelligent aquatic humanoid could easily avoid detection. They might be shy or cautious of humans. The lack of definitive proof does not completely rule out the possibility for those who wish to believe. The ocean still holds many secrets. Section 5. The scientific lens, marine biology and misidentification. From a scientific perspective, the existence of mermaids as half-human, half-fish creatures is highly unlikely. Marine biologists point out many challenges. How would such a creature evolve? Mammals, like humans, breathe air. Fish extract oxygen from water using gills. A mermaid would need a complex respiratory system to function both above and below water. Also, the anatomy is problematic. A human torso connected to a fishtail presents biological difficulties for movement, reproduction, and thermoregulation in cold waters. Many scientists believe that supposed mermaid sightings can be explained by misidentification. Manatees and dugongs are often cited as the prime culprits. These marine mammals, also known as sea cows, have a vaguely human-like shape from a distance. They have paddle-like flippers. They sometimes hold their young in a way that resembles a human mother holding a baby. When seen through fog or by tired sailors, these animals could easily be mistaken for mermaids. Their faces, though not human, might appear so from afar. Seals and sea lions are other potential candidates for misidentification. They are agile swimmers. They can haul themselves onto rocks. Their barks and cries can sometimes sound human-like. In poor visibility, a seal on a rock could be misinterpreted. Even large fish or dolphins seen in unusual circumstances might contribute to mermaid legends. The power of suggestion is also strong. If sailors expected to see mermaids, they might interpret ambiguous sights as such. The human mind is good at finding patterns, even where none exist. However, some argue that not all sightings can be easily dismissed. They point to the consistency of descriptions across cultures and time periods. Details like long hair or specific behaviors are sometimes reported. While mainstream science remains skeptical, the vastness of the ocean means we cannot say for certain that no such creature exists. New species are discovered in the ocean regularly. The deep sea is particularly mysterious. But for a creature as large and complex as a mermaid, the lack of physical evidence like bones or fossils is a significant hurdle for believers. Section 6. Famous fins, notable mermaid sightings and hoaxes. Throughout history, some mermaid sightings and incidents have become particularly famous. These stories have captured public imagination. They often blur the line between possible reality and outright fabrication. One of the most well-known examples is the Fiji mermaid. This was exhibited by P.T. Barnum in the 1840s. It was a grotesque creature, supposedly the mummified remains of a real mermaid. People flocked to see it. It caused a sensation. However, it was later revealed to be a hoax. The Fiji mermaid was cleverly constructed. It was made by stitching the upper body of a monkey to the tail of a fish. This object was likely created in Japan or East Asia. Such mermaids were sometimes made by fishermen for religious purposes or as curiosities. Barnum was a master showman. He knew how to create a buzz. The Fiji mermaid, though fake, fueled public fascination with mermaids. It also made people more skeptical. It showed how easily the public could be fooled by a convincing story and a strange object. Another interesting case comes from the early 20th century. In 1900, a Scottish schoolteacher named Alexander Gunn reported seeing a mermaid. He was walking on a remote beach in Sandwood Bay, Scotland. He claimed to have seen a figure on a rock, combing its reddish-yellow hair. It had a woman's upper body and a fishtail. He watched it for some time before it dived into the sea. Gunn was a respected member of his community. His account was taken seriously by some, but it remained unverified. More recently, in 2012, Animal Planet aired a docu-fiction program called Mermaids: The Body Found. It presented evidence of mermaids using fake scientists and CGI footage. Many viewers believed it was a real documentary. It caused a huge public reaction. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, even issued a statement saying that no evidence of aquatic humanoids has ever been found. This incident showed how easily misinformation can spread. It also highlighted the public's enduring desire to believe in these mythical creatures. Section 7. Waves of Influence, the cultural impact of mermaid lore. Mermaids have had a profound impact on human culture for centuries. They appear in art, literature, music, and film. Their image has changed over time. Sometimes they are benevolent and helpful, other times they are dangerous and destructive, but they always represent the mystery and power of the ocean. This enduring presence shows how deeply these creatures are embedded in our collective imagination. They are more than just a myth. They are a cultural icon that continues to inspire creativity across the globe. In literature, mermaids have been popular characters. Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid is perhaps the most famous example. His story, published in 1837, tells of a young mermaid who sacrifices her voice for a chance to live on land and win the love of a human prince. This tale is both beautiful and tragic. It has been adapted many times, most famously by Disney, but the original story explores themes of sacrifice, unrequited love, and the pain of transformation. It cemented the image of the romantic, yearning mermaid in popular culture. Mermaids also feature prominently in visual arts. Artists throughout history have been inspired to paint, sculpt, and draw them. From ancient mosaics to Renaissance paintings to modern digital art, mermaids are a recurring subject. They are often depicted as beautiful and alluring. Their imagery is used in logos, advertisements, and fashion. The mermaid as a symbol can represent freedom, mystery, femininity, and a connection to nature. This visual appeal has made them a constant presence in our aesthetic world, adapting to new styles and mediums over time. Beyond art and literature, mermaid folklore has influenced superstitions and beliefs. Sailors often carried mermaid charms for good luck or protection. Some believed that killing a mermaid would bring bad fortune. In some cultures, mermaids were seen as guardians of treasure or spirits of the water. These beliefs shaped how people interacted with the sea. Even today, the image of the mermaid is used to promote conservation of marine environments. She becomes a symbol of the ocean's beauty and fragility, reminding us to protect her realm. Section 8. Beyond the shore, the aquatic ape hypothesis connection. While not directly about mermaids, there is a fringe scientific theory that touches upon human adaptation to water. This is the aquatic ape hypothesis, AAH. It was first proposed by marine biologist Sir Alister Hardy in 1960. He suggested that some human traits might have evolved during a period when our ancestors lived in a semi-aquatic environment. This idea is not accepted by mainstream paleoanthropology. However, it offers an interesting, if speculative, link to the idea of humans adapting to life in water. The AAH points to several human features that are unusual for land mammals. These include our relatively hairless bodies, the layer of subcutaneous fat under our skin, like marine mammals, and our ability to consciously control our breathing. Proponents of the theory also cite our streamlined body shape for swimming and our descended larynx, which could have helped with breath holding. They argue that these traits could have developed if our ancestors spent a significant amount of time foraging in shallow waters, estuaries or coastal areas for food. This hypothesis suggests a closer evolutionary relationship with water than typically assumed. If early hominids did spend time in aquatic environments, it might explain our natural affinity for water. It might even offer a far-fetched evolutionary starting point for legends of aquatic humanoids. If humans once lived near water, or even in it, perhaps stories of water-dwelling people are not entirely baseless. They could be distorted folk memories of a different past. This is highly speculative, of course, and lacks strong fossil evidence. The AAH is mostly dismissed by the scientific community. Critics argue there is no direct fossil evidence to support an aquatic phase in human evolution. They say that human traits explained by AAH can also be explained by other evolutionary pressures on land. However, the theory continues to fascinate some. It provides a different way of thinking about our connection to the aquatic world. While it doesn't prove mermaids exist, it does make one ponder the diverse paths evolution can take and our own species' varied history with water environments. Section 9. The deep, unanswered concluding thoughts on the mermaid enigma. The question of whether mermaids are myth or reality remains open. The evidence is compelling yet elusive. We have ancient texts from diverse cultures describing similar beings. We have sailors' logs from the age of exploration detailing encounters. We even have modern eyewitness accounts, though often anecdotal. These stories span millennia. They paint a picture of a creature that has consistently captured human imagination and curiosity. The persistence of these tales is, in itself, remarkable. Science offers logical explanations for many sightings. Misidentification of known marine animals like manatees, dugongs, or seals is a strong possibility. The biological challenges of a half-human, half-fish creature are significant. The lack of concrete physical evidence, such as bones, fossils, or clear, verifiable photographs, is a major hurdle for belief. Hoaxes like the Fiji mermaid and sensationalized media like Mermaids the Body Found also muddy the waters. They make it harder to separate genuine inquiry from wishful thinking or deliberate deception. Yet the ocean is a vast and mysterious place. We have explored only a tiny fraction of its depths. New species are discovered regularly. It is a world largely hidden from our view. Could an intelligent, elusive, aquatic humanoid exist, avoiding our detection? It's a tantalizing thought. The desire to believe in mermaids speaks to our fascination with the unknown. It reflects our longing for connection with nature and the possibility of wonders beyond our current understanding. The mermaid embodies this sense of mystery and enchantment. Ultimately, whether mermaids swim in the deep or only in the currents of our imagination, their story is powerful. They challenge us to look closer at the world around us. They encourage us to question, to explore, and to wonder. The mermaid enigma reminds us that there is still much to learn about our planet. Perhaps the truth is out there, waiting in the silent deep blue. Or perhaps the truth lies in the enduring power of myth to shape our perception of the world. The dive into this mystery is far from over.